All right, so today we got another episode of the Hall Class, and today I've got Ali and Jean-Claude Aldibs here. Go ahead and say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. We're here with the good-looking Craig.
Funny.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
So we want to get to know you guys today and hear all about you. So I'm going to start with Ali. We'll just kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. So Ali, tell everybody where you grew up and a little bit about your family and when you were grade school age.
Okay, so I moved here to San Diego to Encinitas from Arizona when I was 7, almost 8. Actually, we were in Pacific Beach for a while, and my parents located to Encinitas, so I grew up here in the Del Mar Stake in the Cardiff Ward.
Who's bishops at the time? Do you remember any of the old bishops?
Larry Eddington.
Great guy.
And now I'm totally blanking. Who married us? Crickmore.
Yeah.
Jerry
Crickmore. Yeah.
Oh, fun times. So did you go to San Diego or Torrey Pines?
I was at San Diego, La Costa Canyon, then back to San Diego.
Wow.
And then off to UVCC at the time.
I remember that. Yeah, that's cool. And how about you, Jean-Claude? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Paris, France, and I stayed there till I was like 13, 14, and then I was working, so I started to travel for my work, and I got here in 86.
Wait, you started working at 13 and 14? What were you doing at 13 and 14?
I'm trying to eat. I was working actually. That's where I started doing hair. I'm a hairdresser by trade, and the training in France is you start in the salon. You don't go to school. So I started there, and at like 14, I had to travel to London, doing an exchange program with Vidal Sassoon, and come back to Paris, travel again. Eventually, I ended up here.
Oh, that's cool.
So I didn't finish school, nor did I do high school.
Interesting. So what was it like growing up in Paris?
It's, you feel alive. You feel like you live in. You feel like you are part of a bigger thing, bigger than you think, right? There's people, the culture, the interaction, the social connection. It's totally different than here. And you come to America and you know you are in a boot camp now. You gotta work. So yeah, that's the difference, I think.
Interesting. What? Tell us a little bit about your folks. I'm interested to know a little bit about your parents or your family over there.
Yeah, my parents are. I'm from a cross-cultural kind of marriage. My dad is Syrian from Syria, who speaks Arabic, and mom is French from a Syrian heritage, which she was born in France. He was born in Syria, and we grew up in Paris to that both cultures, right? And the mixed culture in Paris was totally evolved, right? The Italian, the Spaniard, the German, all the stuff. So yeah, you grow up within that stew of cultures, and you learn a lot, you see a lot.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious, being Syrian and then Persian.
No.
Not Persian, sorry, Parisian. Sorry, Parisian. Sorry,
yeah.
I said that wrong. Being Syrian and Parisian, were your parents religious at all?
Yes, my dad was a Muslim, and we grew up in a house totally that direction.
Right.
Even though he wasn't the kind that was extreme or wasn't going. He wasn't praying 5 times a day. There's a lot of stuff wasn't following, but nonetheless, he was a great human being, and he was teaching us that. So yes, you grow up within that kind of culture or backdrop, and mom wasn't that religious at all. But the main religion France is Catholic,
Sure.
right? So you lean toward that more. And because you come from these two different beliefs or ideas, you're much more receptive and accepting of other religion, or actually you're curious about it. You want to know more about it.
Right.
So yeah, I think it was an advantage to me to know that I came from that.
Interesting. Did you grow up playing soccer or not? Football?
Of course.
Yeah? Are you a PSG fan?
Football, not soccer.
Yeah, football.
Yes, we grew up playing it on the daily almost. On the street, we used to play it with tin cans. We used to play with balls if we have a ball. We didn't have the money, so anything comes to play. Roll.
Anything that can roll as a ball.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing for us then.
PSG fans?
What is that?
Paris Saint-Germain?
No. We follow as much as we can, but I have been away from it for a long time, so I stopped following. Plus, it's really frustrating to watch something, and instead you want to play. Right? So... Yeah.
That's cool. That's interesting. So, Allie, growing up, what did you like to do? I imagine you weren't working in hair salons at 13 and 14 years of age.
No, I wasn't. My first job was cleaning orthodontist office for Greg Toulson.
Oh, wow.
Actually. He was kind enough to hire me to help do that after hours, after school. I loved hanging out with my friends. I loved being an older sister, having family and cousins around, grandparents. I was very fortunate to have great relationships with all my grandparents.
So was your family all here in the area?
Here in Arizona.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So tell us a little bit about your family growing up.
They were all, born into the church, all the grandparents and my parents, baptized at 8. And yeah, I've just kind of...
What's your maiden name, by the way?
Moeller.
It's like Angie Moeller related to you guys?
My stepmom.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yep.
starting to piece it all together. Okay, got
Yeah.
it. That's cool. So you grew up around here. Were you a beach bum over at the beach all the time? Okay.
Yes, I pinch myself daily that I live in the area where I would come to go to the beach every day in the summer.
What was your favorite beach?
Mostly 17th Street by the lifeguard tower, yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And then you said after high school, so did you do any sports activities in high school or extracurriculars?
No, not really. Just kind of the usual. Nothing's super fancy. School,
Beach,
was
and work.
school. It was mostly friends.
That's awesome. And then you went up to UVU or UVCC.
UVCC.
What did you study up there?
I thought I was going to study construction management. That became very overwhelming very quickly. It was all boys, all the same teacher, a little too rough. And I actually just decided I'd rather work.
What'd you do?
Hostess, mostly a hostess, and a assistant, like secretary work for feature films for families in Orem.
I kind of remember like seeing that somewhere. Is there a movie like I would remember?
Call center with lots of different movies. They try to sell you for kids. DVDs.
Yeah.
Mostly DVDs then.
Is that the ones that did the old like animated Book of Mormon videos? Is that a different one?
Not those, but similar
Similar?
to that. Just kind of wholesome cartoons and stories.
That's awesome. So what happened
Well,
next?
exciting.
What happened next in your life, and how'd you wind up getting back here?
I got back here, was married for a short time, had my son Bo, got divorced, was living here in Oceanside, and then working in Solana Beach, and that's where I met my husband.
All right, we're gonna get. Who's the better one at telling that story? By the way, who should we ask?
Ask her. She
Really?
will tell you about a story.
That's a good story. So, and tell us about Bo, first and foremost.
Bo is, he steals my heart. Bo is 18. He'll be 19 in February. He graduated high school this summer and is off at UVU. Loving life.
That's great.
Doing some school and a lot of playing.
Some school and a lot of playing. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to get to the connection where you guys connected in a second. So Jean-Claude, tell us a little bit about your career. So we started talking about this. You're a hair designer. So tell us how you went from Paris and wound up getting over here.
So my career started when I was 13. I traveled and I needed to learn more. And I started because I needed to work for the summer, right? And the reason I started this thing was really a girl I was back then 13, she was 16. I'm like, 16? Hello, this is a beautiful thing. So we ended the summer, or about to enter into the summer, and she said, where are you going to work? I said, I'm going to work for a printing company down the street from where we live. She said, oh, no, come work with us. I said, where do you work? And she said, in the salon. I said, no, I'm, never, jamais. And she said, no, come, you will love it. I said, okay, I'll try it. Back then I was shy. I broke that. I'm no more shy.
Definitely not.
Right? So I started with her, and I'm like, within the first 2 weeks, I'm going home. My pocket is full of money. I'm happy, beautiful girls, the salon, the life style of that part of it was amazing. I'm like, wait, I like this job. So she left the end of the summer, and I stayed. So then I started to get good with it, and I started traveling, learning, and teaching. And I've been doing it since then, and I traveled a lot of places, pretty much almost all over Europe. I went to Dubai, I went to Saudi Arabia, I went different places. And then I went back to Paris in 85, 86, and then I decided to come and visit here. And I arrived in Boston first. And again, arrived in Boston. I'm like, this is terrible. Who lives here? It's freezing. Was
it in the winter?
Yeah, it was like September, but it was cold already. Yeah. I'm going back. And again, 2 weeks before I wanted to go back, I went out with my brother at that time to a place to have a drink, whatever. And I meet this girl, and she said, and we started getting along, we're having fun. I'm like, maybe I'll wait another 2-3 weeks. Another 2-3 weeks. And then eventually we ended up coming here, which is, I think, around November, December. We moved to California.
That's a smart time to come to California.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It was amazing to drive away from the slush and the snow and come, you see the sun, you're like, wow, this is beautiful.
So in all these places you travel, have you had your own salon or worked in salons, or what have you done?
And the first part of my life, I totally worked for salons. I was working there in Saudi Arabia, Dubai. I had my own setup. In Boston, I wasn't long enough there, but I was teaching. And then when I came here, initially I was working for a salon, and then in 91, I opened my own setup. And ever since, I have my business.
Where and I think you have multiple businesses. Where are your businesses located?
I have one in Hillcrest, one in Del Mar, downtown Del Mar, one here in Carmel Valley, one Paseo, and one in Las Vegas.
And do you still cut hair, or you just manage the shops?
No, I cut hair.
You still do it?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
We were just joking. You can't do anything for me, but...
No, we can shine.
Polished. That's great. What's the best thing about, from your perspective, about working in a salon?
to tie this to our heavenly Father, right? To tie it to kind of people understand it is creating. It's creating and see how your creation can add a smile or add value to somebody. And once you're in it and you've been doing it long enough, you really understand the value of it and how important to create something for somebody and have somebody trust in you to create something on them. It's a mutual relationship, right? So it ties perfectly from that perspective, right? Plus the satisfaction of creating something that somebody can instantly see and say, wow, my gosh, I feel good, right? It's important. And I think most of us, whatever job we do or whatever, it's we want to impact, we want to influence somebody's attitude or feeling about themselves to feel good about themselves, feel like value, adding value to somebody.
That's really interesting. That is. Now, Ali, have you, being married and stuff, have you become familiar with the salon industry?
Yeah, I've helped him with managing the salons in the sense of helping collect rent or making sure all the products are stocked that they need, helping Jean-Claude with his calendar and scheduling with clients and knowing the timings, what takes how long. It was very different for him than it would be for some of the other stylists, but I've gotten a good feel for it. Learning his clients, learning their needs, what they expect, and building great friendships. Actually, he's got a lot of great clients who love him and admire and respect him for more than just being a hairstylist.
Yeah, I do believe if you're really doing anything in life intentionally, with a good meaning behind it, you will end up not doing anything related to work. You'll be doing everything about good living, and you live a life that really much more fulfilling than but trying to pursue the money of it or the outside of it, right? Mm-hmm. And I know most of us, we do that initially the first part of our life because that's really what sustains us, and that's how our brain kind of comprehend how can I exist in this world without just I need to make it, I need to make money. I mean, it's always related about money. But when we get beyond that point and when we understand all we need is we have the minute we wake up in the morning, we have everything we need, right? So once you get to that conclusion, you realize it's not really about money. It's about the people, about family, about memory, about living life and coming from a culture as a kid growing up to I miss that culture. Therefore, I try to implement that into my work and through the friendship I create there.
That's very wise. It's also a little bit more of the European way of living life versus the American way.
I hear that a lot. It's a European way. Even the way we live, or our home, our residence, whatever, I always try to create a culture that suits me as a person, right? Suits me how, in the sense of I want joy, I want happy around my environment. And how I can create that is like, yes, I want my croissant down there. I want my food next to me. I want my people next to me. I want my wife to be close to me. It has to be simplified. It's not, I think maybe it's European because it's older, right? But how it started creating this ambiance that is really, really neighbors close to each other, people are concerned. Hence what attracted me about the Mormon culture, right? within the church is that European approach, right? Think about it, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody worry about everybody. They know everybody. They come to the rescue. In Europe, you don't have to be Mormon.
Right. I can see that.
In the neighborhood, you can play soccer with a Jewish boy or a Muslim boy. It doesn't matter. You're still there for them and they're for you, right? So I think that's really important, and I like that. So all what we're missing here is a bakery and some restaurant. We'll be okay. That will be totally European now.
There used to be a French bakery, Champagne. Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Kind of. So, being on the inside, Allie, you got any tips of the trade? Not everybody can have Jean-Claude as their personal stylist. So, you got tips of the trade about, hey, be attentive to this, or, product selection, this. Any wisdom you want to share to the folks?
Oh, well, coming from him, he told me recently, the new rule is if you're wearing your exercise clothes, you need to have a hair mask in your hair to keep it from being dry, from all the elements, the sun, the sweat, the salt water, whatever, and keep it shiny.
Interesting.
I try.
I try too. It doesn't do me any good. So we skip past, but want to come back to tell us about how you met Allie.
We were both working on Cedros Avenue in Solana Beach. Jean-Claude had a hair salon across the street and upstairs, and I was part of a furniture store. I started to get my hair done by another stylist that worked in his salon for about a year or so, and we had met and knew of each other. But one day, just something shifted, and he was across the street with Armand, who did my hair, and chatting, and it's a beautiful day for a run, he said, and he is a runner. I am not, but before I turned to go back to work, I said, I have my running clothes in the car if you're up for it after work. And I turned around and walked away, and I didn't know where that voice came from. And we went running after that, and kind of slowly but surely evolved into eternity.
Friendship, dates, and eternity.
So let me tell you.
That's a good path. Start with friendship.
Yeah.
I was talking with our son the other day about building relationships, and you're like, friendship first, then it evolves, and you get to eternity.
Yep.
It's a good thing. So, what attracted you to Jean-Claude?
He was a mind reader a little bit. Because he's been worked with women for so long. I think I felt like he knows me sometimes better than I know myself, or what I would say, or how maybe how I feel about things. So that was really how in tune he was, I felt, to people around him. I really liked that. And just immediately a big heart, and super fun loving, always wanting to make people happy and make people laugh, and his devotion to family.
That's very sweet. So how long did you guys date before you're married?
It wasn't a very traditional sense for the teenagers.
She's struggling with that. I will say we lived in sin.
Listening, yes, we
lived in sin, and eventually I converted, right?
No, we got married first.
Oh, we got married. Yes, I converted.
Married, then joined the church.
Right, okay. And then we're together. Yes, it's totally something being French, whatever. Like initially,
let's just blame it on the French,
right? But one thing she didn't tell you, and I felt bad afterward, after she taught me what it means. We went for a run that day, the first time.
Yeah.
And, if you're a runner, you run, but you don't talk so much. You just enjoy the run, right? We're running, and she's talking, and she's excited, and she's telling me about this. I'm like, my gosh. I said, I'm so proud. You run like a horse.
White horse.
But in French, cheval fort, like cheval fort, right? It's like beautiful, strong horse. It's a beautiful thing, an image, no? And I said that to her. And later on, she told me, I'm not a horse. I said, I didn't mean it like you are a horse. I didn't say you are a cow. I say you're a horse. So since then, she always reminds me of that. She said that to me. So
Do you have a lot of horses as decorations in the house now?
no, but it's a beautiful thing, though. Horse is a beautiful
I've learned to
thing.
appreciate this.
That's funny. So, you joined the church. What? Tell us about that experience of joining the church.
It is true. It's like as you listen and as you hear and as you talk with the missionary and as you I believe Picasso says your mission in life is to find your gift. Your purpose in life is to share your gift. And you don't know those things until you have kids. And once you have kids, you discover more about you than you didn't know before.
Sure.
Due to my son, and he was a teenager at that time, and I wanted to make sure that I'm doing the right thing for him, right? Like so he first said, I'm talking to the missionary. I said, great. And then he said, why don't you come with me? And I did. I said, yeah, okay, let's do it. So we started there, but obviously as we went through the process, you feel it. You feel that the Spirit kind of carrying you from one stepping stone into another. Eventually, I was walking out of the baptism tub and I'm like, wow, I'm here.
It happened.
I'm here. I did it. So that's how it happened, basically.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What was the experience like as he's being taught by the missionaries? What was your experience like, Allie?
Surreal. I had stepped away from the day-to-day or week-to-week aspect of going to church for a time. So to me, I said, okay, I have to, am I in this? I had to make a decision for me, like no half in, half out, what do I want to do? But the first time that we did come to church, we came here to the Carmel Valley Ward because it just happened to be the convenient time. I felt home. It was home for me. Just felt overwhelming love and a lot of gratitude. Sorry.
It's all right. It's a beautiful story from Paris to Solana Beach to eternity.
Yeah, and that eternity thing I was struggling with for a while. I'm like, wait, that's really suffocating. Eternity, that's a long time.
You mean you don't want to be with her forever?
No, you do, but you don't have to. I've now said eternity. It's like sound like you are going to prison or something. Like, no, it just, yes, of course. She's a beautiful woman. I'm grateful that I have her, but
I would tease him when we were dating and say, we're going to be together for eternity. And I wasn't quite sure how that was going to happen.
She did.
But it was a very strong conviction for me that
It took
I knew.
years and it comes together. That's amazing. It's interesting. So, just last couple of things, maybe. Tell us, hobbies. Like, what do you guys like to do? Obviously, there's some running. What else do you guys like to do?
Does eating count?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's our hobby.
Yes.
Eating is our
What's your favorite food?
hobby.
Oh.
Or favorite restaurant?
Old Venice is
was our favorite. We like all kind of food. We like Thai. We like it all. We eat, and we like to go good places to eat and try new things.
His mom was an incredible cook. Mostly everything fresh,
Yes.
homemade. You soak your own beans to make hummus, and
There's no shortcuts. Nothing in the foils. Nothing in cans. Nothing. So My favorite food is our kitchen food. I like to eat home. I like to cook. Ali cooks amazing. She picked up a lot of stuff as well from mom and her grandma, and her ability to cook. It's incredible. Really, it is.
That's amazing.
We like to eat. Yep.
So you like to cook and like to eat. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we love to go to the beach when it's warm enough. Kind of fair weather beachers, but
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
yeah.
So last question maybe. All these experiences you guys have had in life, who's Jesus Christ to each of you? What does he mean to you?
He's for me, he's the center. He's my first and my last in my day. He is as within, so as without. Everything starts with him, and everything outside of him comes together. I like to believe I live Christ-centered life, and I like to believe that's the only way to live.
I like that. Allie?
He's my friend. He he knows everything. And he's my brother, but that sometimes doesn't feel as strong as really a friend. Someone who's always there.
That's sweet. Well, thank you for sharing all your different thoughts today. It's been really interesting to get to know each of you and spend some time with the Aldibs. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.